Hello, dear friends. This is your astrology horoscope and cosmic overview for September 2024. I can say that we have so many things happening this month, and there are so many shifts that it's gonna be definitely an intense, important, transformative month. So there are many planets which are changing signs, some of them a couple of times. There are planets changing directions. We have an eclipse. We have important conjunctions with the South Node. So things are moving really fast in a really dynamic way. So I have my notes here. If you see me looking down, I just want to make sure that everything will be included and you can be well prepared for what's coming ahead. And actually, the most intense things are happening at the beginning of the month because Uranus is turning retrograde on the 1st of September and will be stationary approximately until the 12th, the 13th of September. And at the same time, Pluto is going back to Capricorn on the 1st of September. And Pluto will stay there approximately until the end of November. Last time when Pluto is going back to Capricorn. So basically two outer planets, which are extremely accentuated and extremely active at the same time, at the very beginning of the month. So the first half of the month is gonna feel really, really intense. What does it mean if and when Uranus is stationary? It means that the energy is really focused and really intense. You can imagine this symbolically. So the planet is kind of like putting, metaphorically, some kind of energy to move. And of course, it's also kind of like sharing its inner energy anyway. But when the planet becomes stationary, from our perspective, it stops. So there is no movement. And all of this energy that was supposed to be put into the movement ahead is now refocused on kind of like spreading the energy. So this kind of like sharing the energy, you may also say. So basically, it becomes much, much stronger and accentuated than usual. And when we talk about Uranus, first, I want to congratulate all astrologers and astrology lovers because for us, this could be a very productive time, very intense, very focused, very concentrated Uranus energy. Also, this could be very nice for people who want to create something different, who want to make some significant changes, who are interested in growth and improvements, but not just, I would say, not just regular changes. It's more like very deep, very transformative changes, which allow something brand new to come up. So not just, reinventing the old stuff and repeating them. It's more about bringing something entirely new and fresh. So this could be very nice for people who are more adventurous, who are really seeking and need this extra boost of energy so that they could make some radical shifts in their lives. Also, people who are more mentally oriented, people who kind of like use their mind, I would say, on a different level, in a different way, for coming up with some kind of new ideas, something exciting, something fresh, something very different. For some people, this may even be some kind of revolutionary ideas and insights. Uranus is very, very helpful because, again, it's like the most intense position you can have, the stationary position. I repeat, until the 12th, the 13th of September. But here we also have a but. The Uranus energy is so productive and constructive when we use it in a constructive way, when we are kind of like focusing on really something new. But if we are trying to keep things as they are, kind of like stay where we are, we want to avoid some risks and changes, then Uranus can bring lots of tension. It's also true that there could be more unexpected, sometimes even shocking situations, or situations that require from us to respond really fast, really quick. And here it depends on how you respond to this. For some people, that's like a great opportunity. For someone else, it could be stress. So be aware of that overall the nervous system is extremely triggered, sensitive, responsive. And people could be more unpredictable than usual, sometimes more irrational, sometimes, especially if they can't control and they can't navigate those impulses, the energy could be quite turbulent as well. At the same time, as we said, Pluto is also moving back to Capricorn. This is the very last time when Pluto is going back to Capricorn for a very short period, just until end of November. And this is also showing some potential social transformations. Overall, things can be more turbulent when it comes to communication with authority figures or communication on this level, like social institutions, government, and all of this. So the time is, again, quite intense. For the individuals, for us as humans, this energy can also trigger us to kind of like transform some of the fundamentals in our life. Like, what are the principles that we follow? What are those inner or outer rules that we consider as most important? And on this level, there could be some deep transformations. So our interaction with some kind of social structures, again, external, big, let's say, institutions, yes, probably that's the best word. Those things can be very intense, can be transformed. What are the other important themes? First of all, I should not forget also to invite you to join us in the new Astrology Academy year. I'm starting a new group, a new astrology group, which will be in a very kind of like new format, in a new way. The whole program will be changed and transformed. And we will have some free classes during September. So you can just join us and see and learn some interesting stuff, understand if this is something that can help you, this is something that you are interested in. Again, the program will be very exciting, new, refreshed, transformed. As I said, Uranus is very active now, so we need some changes. If you are not subscribed for email updates, you can check the links below and subscribe so that you will be invited to the free classes. Now, going back to our astrology overview. The beginning of the month is also very interesting because there will be a conjunction between Venus, the South Node, and the Black Moon Lilith in Libra. So Venus is really, really strong. Venus is the ruler of this sign, and Venus will join the South Node and Lilith there. So first of all, the Libra topic could be very, very important for us, especially during the first week of the month. And this can make us think about or focus or re-experience some emotional things from our past. So, for example, reassessing your personal life, reassessing your own desires. Also, this is a huge topic for Libra, and especially when Lilith is also there. The mythology and the story about Lilith is very interesting. And basically, it's about related to unfulfilled desires and promises that were not kept. And like there is a whole story there. And in our life, this can also be a topic, especially during the first week. So I would recommend you to focus on your personal life, see which are the things that you are ready to let go of, especially when it comes to personal life, relationships, and your own desires. and see if there's a place, an area, maybe a relationship where you feel mistreated, where you feel like you didn't get what you were promised or what you deserved. And now is a great time to let this go, because this is only holding you back. Here, the intense Uranus energy can be helpful to kind of like break those chains, cut those old connections so that then you can be free. Because Venus is very strong now. Venus in Libra, let me check, until the 23rd of September. So this time can be very beneficial for reconnecting, for focusing on more harmony and more balance in your life. So that's one of the major focuses. Speaking of Venus, on the 23rd, Venus is moving to Scorpio. So the emotional atmosphere will get more intense, deeper, relationships will be deeper and more intense during the last week of the month. So be aware of that. And right before Venus moves to Scorpio, at the end of Libra, Venus will have a square with Pluto. So those days around 21st, 22nd, 23rd of September can be very, very intense. Venus has a square with Pluto and then it moves to Scorpio. So most likely, like the middle 10 days of the month are the most harmonious emotionally and for our relationships. The first week is more intense because of those conjunctions with the South Node and especially with Lilith. So even though it can be a very positive time to let go of some old stuff, it could trigger also some intense emotions. The middle 10 days are the most balanced, most harmonious, I would say, because Venus is in Libra, but further from the South Node and Lilith. And the last 10 days, Venus is getting to the last 3 degrees, which are the critical degrees of the sign. It has a square with Pluto, so really intense, like a peak level of emotions. And then it moves to Scorpio, which is not a harmonious position for Venus. Venus is too intense, too, I would say, sometimes dramatic. And yeah, it could bring, like high level of emotions. So the middle 10 days are the best for relationships. Next, let's talk about Mars, the planet of taking action, expressing our willpower, doing the things that we want to pursue on our own. Mars is in the critical degrees during the first few days of the month, until the 4th approximately. Mars will be in Gemini. And also Mars will have a square with Neptune during those days. So the energy is a bit tricky. Mars is not strong. When we combine this with the stationary Uranus, from one side, it's beneficial. From another side, it's challenging. Why it's challenging? Because when Uranus is very intense, we have the urge to do something, to make those changes. It's an energy that doesn't let us stay, at peace in one place. There is an impulse for something. But Mars is very weak. Mars is in critical degrees, squared by Neptune, which means that things can be kind of foggy. It's not very clear. The motivation is not very concrete or focused. And we feel the urge for something. At the same time, it's not so easy to actually initiate and do something right away. And for people who are used to live more in the outside world, to pursue things, to achieve things there, it may not be very comfortable. But why am I saying that this can also be a positive thing? Because with such a combination, we may use the energy more internally first, which means to process things, to use Uranus on a mental level. This is the most productive level where Uranus can really reward us. So to really have some insights, to have some ideas, and not to rush to make, like immediate steps or immediate changes, but first to process this internally. And on the 5th, Mars is moving to Cancer. So Mars is moving in a new sign. So after that, it will become easier for us to do something, to take action. However, Mars in Cancer is not strong, which means that, again, it won't be in a reckless, impulsive way, like at this very moment. It needs to be something that is important for us emotionally, that kind of like resonates for us on a personal, emotional level. And we shouldn't rush things. So with Mars being first in critical degrees in Gemini, then in Cancer during basically the whole September, we shouldn't rush. We shouldn't force things too much. We should be patient. And at the same time, we should see what resonates with us personally. Like, what do you want to do? Not because you have to, not because you just need to put this energy somewhere and kind of like get rid of it, but because it really resonates with you on a personal level. So for those things, Mars will be helpful during September. Next, Mercury. Mercury is, well, much more dynamic than last month. I want to remind you that during August, Mercury was retrograde. At the end of the month, Mercury turns direct. So first of all, communication should harmonize, should kind of like get back to normal. And also Mercury will change signs a few times. So first it's in Leo, then in Virgo, and then in Libra. So 3 different signs for Mercury during this month, which means that the way we communicate, the way we express ourselves, the way we connect, especially on this more like rational, practical level with friends, with co-workers, there will be a lot of dynamic. Things will change. At first, when Mercury is in Leo, this will be until the 9th of September. It's more about self-expression, expressing your ideas, kind of like staying connected to your own opinion. The challenge is that it's not so easy to listen to each other. So we are more focused on sharing our position, our vision, our ideas, which doesn't mean it's a bad thing, but the mutual interaction and exchange of ideas is not so present. So be aware of that. After that, while Mercury is in Virgo, this will be between the 9th and the 26th of September. It's a very positive time for some constructive, practical ideas to organize things, to put things in order. And actually, putting things in order and organizing them is one of the major topics of the month, because the sun will be in Virgo as well until the 22nd, approximately. Let me make sure that, until the 22nd of September, yes. So great time for practical focuses, concrete ideas, paying attention to how things really work, analyzing them, not thinking only about how we would like things to be or what's our vision and so on, but first to understand how they really are right now and to put some kind of order right here and right now. So for this practical approach, also for mental work, ideas, and implementation in reality, this is a very productive period, again, between the 9th and the 26th. And on the 26th, Mercury is moving to Libra, which can be helpful for listening to each other, understanding different opinions, also seeing things from different sides, our side and the other side, or someone else's position. So the last few days when Mercury is in Libra, we can be able to see more angles, to see things from different perspectives, which is usually a very nice thing. New moons and full moons. We have a new moon on the 3rd of September. So also indication that makes the beginning of the month very intense, very, like charged with lots of fuel and energy. Again, not everything unfolds immediately right away because of Mars position, because also the stationary Uranus energy can hold the energy a bit in one place. But after the first week or after the first few days, the energy will unfold more and more. So on the 3rd of September, we have a new moon in Virgo, which is a great time to set some goals related to practical achievements, work, organizing your daily routines, paying more attention to your health, to your body, and overall the connection with the external world, with the material world. After that, we have not only a full moon, but also a lunar eclipse on the 17th. So this is like a peak level of the energy when we can materialize some things, ideas, visions, thoughts, but also we can let go of some stuff if they are not working. So as we know, the full moons, they are from one side turbulent times, you know that there is some kind of intensity that comes with this. But at the same time, it's a moment when we can see things from a different perspective. The moon symbolizing the subconsciousness, also the invisible things, is visible, like we can see it. But when there is a lunar eclipse, it's a bit foggier than usual. So this is a bit more specific combination. It's a partial eclipse, so it's not like complete and really, really intense, but it can allow us to see some things, but more on the inside. That's the metaphor, that's the symbol of the lunar eclipse, because the traditional full moon is like, you know, the moon is there, all of it, you can see it. So it's helping us to realize some things, to kind of like see them completely, things that were not so obvious for us. But if the moon is also part of the lunar eclipse, so we can't really see it in this usual way, then the meaning of that is that we can see those things, but more on an inner level. So in other words, for self-exploration, understanding yourself better, connecting and trying to figure out your own motivation, your own reasons, it's a very, very beneficial time. And also this connection between the rational Virgo and the irrational intuitive, which represents Pisces. So very interesting combination. And especially when we can work with this in a constructive way, it can bring incredible benefits. So I personally love those combinations when we have something material, you know, something concrete, practical, which in this case is symbolized by Virgo. And at the same time, there is this creative, I would say more invisible, more irrational, but also energy which brings more life. So very, very interesting full moon and lunar eclipse. So this is the general overview. As you can see, we have many ingressions. We have many planets changing their positions. It's much more than usual. So Mercury 3 times, the Sun 1 time on the 22nd also, Venus 1 time, Mars, and even Pluto. So yeah, the sky is on fire, we can say. Plus, we also have this incredibly interesting bisextile between the outer planets. Pluto and Uranus trining each other and Neptune in the middle. We call this configuration a bisextile. And Neptune is the main player in this configuration. That's where the main energy goes. It will be activated by the lunar eclipse as well. So the energy is, again, very, very dynamic. And this is important for some kind of social changes. I mean, on a collective level, for sure, there are very deep processes of transformation, but also if we are searching for something beyond the invisible. So the outer planets are after Saturn. So Saturn is our kind of like the line the border, the boundary of the visible world. So if you want something more extraordinary, if you want something different, if you want some kind of creativity, or you want to get in touch with something which is, you know, beyond the rational, then this combination is absolutely fantastic. And the greatest thing is that when we have this Virgo energy, the sun is in Virgo most of the month, Mercury will be in Virgo as well. It means that it's not just about kind of like having fun with those energies and, you know, like dreaming about stuff, imagining stuff, or maybe even just feeling them. No, it's not only that. It's the ability to connect this, to kind of like implement it more on a material level in the outside world. So it's a great, great combination. We do have the square between Jupiter and Saturn also affecting us during the whole month. So socially, when it comes to our goals, what we are pursuing, things are intense, not simple. We may need to change some things. We may need to respect some kind of limitations and boundaries, which eventually can help us to expand and to grow at the right moment, in the right place, and the right way. So if you face with some restrictions and limitations, my advice is to respect them. Don't be discouraged by them. But this is so interesting, and probably it's a topic for another whole deep and long conversation, but very shortly, because that resonates also with Saturn in Pisces. When we have, or when we don't have clear position and we don't feel the space around ourselves, sometimes it can also cause restriction. And in other words, sometimes we need to feel some kind of boundaries and limitations, which are helping us to feel where we are. And only then we can expand more and go beyond them. If there was no Saturn, this world wouldn't be here. It wouldn't exist. So those restrictions of the forms in the world are actually also helping us. And sometimes we do need to feel this limit, you know, or some kind of boundary, and we need to respect it. And it can help us to stabilize ourselves. And after that, we can keep growing and expanding beyond those limitations and boundaries. So those are necessary phases. There isn't eternal, ongoing growth without, you know, going through different phases. And actually, I would say that it's better, or it's more appropriate to say that even those phases when we need to pause, or, you know, kind of like feel those limits that Saturn is bringing, they're actually also part of the growing process. So during September, we might feel that as well. But that's not a bad thing. Again, it's helping us to stabilize, to feel better where we are, to kind of like align our inner and outer compass, and then to keep moving. So I hope you will be able to use this energy in the most constructive, beneficial way for you. Again, during September, we are starting a brand new astrology class, astrology group. The format will be different. The material will be presented in a new way. Everything will be updated, and many new things will be added to this. So I'm personally very excited for this. You can join us for the first part, which will be free. See how it feels for you. In every case, you will learn some helpful things. So even if you don't want to continue, you will still get something out of it. And if you see that you also resonate with this flow and this rhythm, and you are excited to continue in this direction, you are more than welcome to stay with us and to actually keep moving together. Again, Uranus will be a great helper for us. So for astrologers, for people who want this higher perspective, different perspective and understanding, the first half of the month when Uranus is stationary can be very insightful. So it's not a coincidence that we are starting during this time. Again, sign up for email updates below so that you will be invited to join us. Have a wonderful September. Let me know in the comments how you feel about those energies and where is it that you want to make those, to experience those breakthroughs and transformations. I will see you very soon. And until next time, let the Uranus energy bring you this excitement and allow yourself to experience something new. We also need to allow ourselves to get there. So I hope you will. See you next time, and thanks for watching.